Hey, 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 y'all. What's up? What's up? Here, basically, again, just wanted to hop in and go ahead and talk to you guys. A lot of times we have been just talking and having different conversations in my Facebook group. And so I wanted to come in here and talk about some of them live. Like specifically, we've been talking about leaving money to your children. We've been talking about should you leave money? Do you want to leave money? Are you going to? And so I think that those things depend on the person. So you ready? Let's talk about it. So, yes, this is something we've been talking about a lot of times in our group, and I've had a few people ask me questions about it. So, I wanted to come on live and talk about it. The very important thing to remember is personal finance is personal. So, sometimes you're going to have someone who is interested and they want to leave a lot of money for their children, or they plan on leaving money for them. And then you're going to have somebody who doesn't, or you have individuals who don't have any children. All of it is going to be based on what you plan on doing with your finances, and it's going to be based on what you would like to have in your finances, essentially. So that's why we're going to talk about creating your financial vision board and why this is a step that you really can't afford to miss. So a lot of times we set out and we say, oh, I want to do this, or I want to do that. Or I have a lot of students who come up to me and they're typically like, oh, well, I want to do this for my finances, or I don't really know how to get started. Where do I start at? And they kind of lost. And that's one of the reasons I started having the cash clarity workshop, because I find so many people don't have a roadmap when it comes to what they even want to do with their finances. They haven't thought about it that far. They haven't given it that much thought. And I think that that's just something that, well, I guess we need to work on. So definitely come in, chime in the chat. Let me know what you think. I'm going to start going live more to talk about different topics and just basically have these conversations, because I feel like these conversations are needed. They're very important. And they're conversations that we don't have as much as we should have. So let's talk about it. I think that one of the things that's important is figuring out where you want to go. So, what do you want to do with your finances? Where do you want to go? What is it that you feel like is important to you? What do you think about when you think about where you want to be in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years? That's what's going to help you start to shift and shape exactly where you want to end up, because you're not going to be able to decide what rules or what things you will set for yourself until you create that financial vision board. So I'm going to back up for a second and then let's talk about what a financial vision board is. A financial vision board is similar to a regular vision board, but I think it gets a little bit deeper and takes a bigger dive into what you actually want for yourself and your finances, because it's easy to just throw things out there and say, I want to do this, I want to do that, without having a solid foundation to actually tell you what you're going to do. So I'm going to give you an example. Okay, I was trying to type this in. So I'm going to give you an example just to kind of show you what I'm talking about. Let's just say, for example, you say, I want to raise my credit score by, I don't know, 500 points. So you want to raise your credit score by 500 points at the end of the year. Okay, so by you saying that, I know already I got 6 months to do so because it's already June. So Now I got one step that I need to accomplish based on me setting the goal of where I'm trying to end up. If I just say, oh, I want to raise my credit score, to what? For like how much? Why? What are you trying to do with it? So you have to be a lot more specific in what we're doing. There's too many times we out here just shouting out things and saying things out of nowhere, acting like, oh, well, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, but we're not really putting anything behind it. So all that ends up being is having a vision with no actual backing behind it. You have a vision with no work behind it. That's just like you just throwing things out in the air. And that's not really going to be something that you need to help you be successful. You have to get more specific. You have to be more intentional, especially when it comes to yourself. It's going to take you putting in that work. And you have to get almost delusional when it comes to you envisioning yourself accomplishing your goals. The other day I was at the gym, right? So I'm at the gym and I'm on the treadmill and I got a trip coming up. So I'm on a treadmill, I have a trip coming up, and I'm envisioning myself on this trip on the beach, and I'm envisioning like what I'm going to look like, you know, me looking good in my swimsuit, the compliments I'm going to get or the comments I'm going to get from people. And I'm even envisioning the negative comments that might come and what my rebuttal would be. Like, that's how delusional you have to be when it comes to actually envisioning your goals and envisioning what you want for yourself. You got to think about that and actually believe it is actually going to happen. Because a lot of times we walk around here and we set goals for ourselves. We talk about we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then 5 years later, we haven't done it. Now we feel bad. Now we're sulking and we feel like, oh, and now we get discouraged along our journey. And that's just really not helpful. That's not helpful to any of us. So I wanted to come on here to kind of have that conversation and say what that looks like. Me personally, I create a physical vision board every single year. You hear me? Every single year, I create a physical vision board. One year, I think I did a physical vision board and a virtual one. And a lot of my things come true, a lot of them don't. And then when it gets to the end of that year, I have to decide, is this something that I still want? Is this something that I don't want anymore? And then if I still want it, just because I didn't accomplish it that year doesn't mean I give up on myself. That means it just rolls over to the next year. But you have to sit down and make that list. If you got to put it in your notepad on your phone, if you got to write it down on an actual piece of paper, you have to do what works for you so you can actually figure out where are you going. Because it's great for us to talk about what we want to do, but a vision without work is it's a hallucination. It's really what it is. If you just envision it, oh, I'm going to get this done, I'm going to get that done. You have to create a vision board. What am I going to do 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What am I going to do with my finances? And then that's how you create a game plan or a budget, a debt repayment plan, whatever. Like, so that's one of the struggles I feel like a lot of my students approach me with. They always come and they have questions about, well, where do I get started? Well, what do I need to do? And I'm actually, I've had sometimes people will question, you know, why are we looking at vision, or why are we looking at goals, and, you know, what's the importance of that? And let's get to the work, let's get to it. And I think that it's because they don't realize that it's very easy for me to teach you the steps. I can pull up a screen right here and right now and teach you all the steps it takes to budget, to pay off debt, and to do anything. But the reality is that's not going to help you if you have no why, you have no purpose. You need a purpose to what you're doing. And if your finances don't have any purpose, it's going to be really hard for you to accomplish those goals. It'll be easy in the beginning. You'll do well in the beginning, you'll work on it, and you might work out for maybe, I'll give you about a month that maybe you might do really well in that month. But what's going to happen is life does not stop lifing because you decided you wanted to do better with your finances. Life is going to continue to do what it does, and it's going to continue to throw obstacles. It's going to throw boulders in your way on your road into your financial stability. It's going to do all of these things that life continues to do. But you're going to need that why. You're going to need that vision that you created for yourself during those times when you're like, man, I don't know if this, I don't know if I don't know about this. You're going to need those in that time. So one of the things that I typically suggest that you do is make a list. You can write them on a piece of paper. Me personally, I write mine down. Like I have a sheet and then I have a physical vision board, and my vision board is plastered right on my wall. Forget, decor and looking cute. This about me. And this is about my goals and the things I want for myself. So if me putting a vision board on my wall messes up my decor, then it is what it is. You hear me? It is what it is, because I have to put the energy behind what I'm doing and the intentionality, if that's even a word. If that's not a word, y'all let me know if that's not a word or not. But I have to be intentional and put that purpose behind whatever I'm doing, because guess what? If I don't, who will? If I don't put that type of intention into what I want for myself and my finances, who will? I'll wait, because nobody gonna put that in. And especially if you setting the standard. If it's not important to you, why should it be important to anybody else? So these are the questions you have to ask yourself. What do I want? And if you don't know what you want and you're not sure what financial goals you're looking to accomplish or are really for you, that's okay. That's fine. But it's important you arrived at that step, that you now know that, because that's how you're going to figure out what your next step should be. Because now you know, okay, wait, I don't really know what I want to do or where I want to go. I have no idea where I want to be in 5 years or 10 years. And it's completely okay for you to feel that way. Don't feel like you should be ashamed because you don't know the answer to that question. That's completely fine. What you have to do is start to think about those things and what you want and what do you see yourself and what type of things you see yourself having in 10 years and 5 years, hell, in 2 years, in 1 year. Once you figure out what you see yourself having in those years, that's going to start to help you figure out what type of things need to go on your financial vision board. So you want to be very clear about it, which might take you doing some figuring out, some brainstorming. Spend time on this. This is for you, and this is a commitment to you. And this is going to be what lines up your goals and your next plan of action. So be very intentional in deciding, okay, yeah, I don't really see that for myself. You know what I'm saying? So that's the first thing. You want to be very clear about what it is you want for yourself. You want to be very clear about how it's going to help you get where you're trying to go. So now I know what I want for myself. What does that include? Okay, I want to have money, or I want to live comfortably. If I've decided I want to live comfortably and this is what I want, what do I have to do to get there? You see what I'm saying? That's going to help you start to build those intentional steps that you need to take. It's okay if you don't know ahead of time. What I typically tell people to do is reverse engineer. If you know you want to, I don't know, be an engineer, maybe you want to be a nomad and you want to travel all over the world and you want to live this life in other countries, and that's the type of lifestyle that you want to live. Okay, great. But what do you need for that? You're going to need money. You're going to need to know like what you're going to do for healthcare. You're going to need to know what you're going to do with whichever your current house or whatever your situation is. So by you actually deciding what you want to do and where you see yourself in 5 to 10 years, that helps you understand what you need to do right now. That's how you figure it out. It's not like you don't have to beat yourself. A lot of times I think we get so lost in our minds and we get so lost in like looking at everybody else's highlight reel, and we compare our behind the scenes with other people's highlight reels. So we're looking at their reels of, they might have had, this vacation or whatever this is. And we're looking at that like, oh, we want that. We want that for ourselves. But we have to stop and think about, well, what do we have to do to get there? Or what did they do to get there? And that's going to take you also surrounding yourself with people who are doing the things that you want to do. All them, like, I'm not saying that you need to cut people completely off and stop talking to people and, oh my God, never talk to them. But you need to do an audit of your circle. I'm just saying, if you have people in your circle that every time you want to do something, and every time you say something that's going on, or I want to do this, or I'm trying to do this, and every single time they always got the negative reason why you can't. They always got the negative part or whatever you're trying to do. And they're like, well, and I had somebody like that. And we had a conversation. They're like, well, I'm just trying to tell you what happened. But you only know the bad things that's going to happen. You don't know none of the good stuff that's going to happen. None of it. All you know is the bad stuff. Like, come on now. Come on. Like, come on. So you have to start identifying those things. And nobody is saying you have to completely stop talking to them, but you need to take inventory of that, because you want to keep positive people around you who is going to encourage you, inspire you, motivate you. Because baby, it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be something that's going to be like, oh, well, I hit my goal tomorrow. It's not going to look like this. I tell people all the time, and you'll see in plenty of my videos, your financial journey is not going to look like this. It's not going to be a straight line. Hell, keeping it real, it's not going to be like this. You want to know what your financial journey going to look like? This. It's going to look like a goddamn roly-poly, a roller coaster, whatever you want to call it. And in those times during your financial journey, when you at the bottom and you trying to figure it out and you getting discouraged and you feel like, oh my God, I took 2 steps forward and 1 step back, that's when you have to remember your why. And that's why it's important to create that financial vision board first. Before you do your budget, before you do your debt repayment plan, because what are we paying our debt for? Why are we creating a budget? What are we doing those things for? So it's important to know that beforehand, because when you're going through your budget and you get to the point and you have to make a decision, what I call executive decisions, it's going to be important to know what you're trying to get to or where you're trying to go. If I'm trying to build a bridge and I need the bridge to cover a certain piece of land, how do I know how much bridge I need to create? I have to know what distance that bridge needs to cover. I have to know how far that bridge has to go. That's the only way I'm going to be able to figure out how much materials, how many people need to work on it. I have to set some type of plan or goal, because we want somebody who do got plans and goals and got budgets and all of those things. It's all these people out here who we got giving us credit cards, and all these department stores and all these people, they all got budgets. So we should definitely have them too. So these are some of the things that I think are important. I got about 15 more minutes on here. So if you got questions, drop your questions in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them. But these are my tips when it comes to creating a financial vision board. The first thing I want you to do is literally sit down and then just have that moment with yourself and explore what you want. Explore what you want for yourself. Explore where you see yourself. And when I say that, this is what I mean. For me, myself, I see myself not working full time. I might have a part-time job, but I see myself not working full time. I see myself able to travel more and move around. I see myself even living outside of the country. But okay, now that I did that, what that mean? That mean I got to have a way to make money, because a lot of times you move to other countries, you live there, but you can't work there. You still got to work here. So I have to figure out, where can I go to work where I can work here but make money there? So now I'm giving myself some to-dos. Now I'm figuring out where I got to go. Okay, so I know that once I figure out what jobs I can do that and accomplish my goal, okay, what skills do I need to get that job? You see what I'm saying? So you're going to take what you want and where you see yourself in years to come, and you're going to work backwards. You're going to work backwards, piece by piece. You're going to work backwards, and then you're going to come all the way to where you are right now, so that you can get the exact next steps. If I say I want to raise my credit score by 100 points by the end of the year, the first step is going to be figuring out where the hell my credit at right now. What's my current credit score? If I'm saying I'm going to raise it, I have to know what it is right now before I can move forward and execute any type of plan. So I have to then know, okay, now I know where my credit is now. What steps do I need to take to increase my credit score to get it up that 100 points? I know I got 6 months to do it. And this also gives me the ability to monitor it. So now as I go through time, if I get to, let's say September, I know it's September, I only got 3 months left. I need to go check my credit score to see where it's at. And then see what have I been doing that's working that I need to double up on, and what have I been doing that's not working that I might want to do a little bit less of. That's how you create your financial plan and your vision board. Now, of course, that's a very straightforward, broken down method. And I'm going to continue to make videos and break down each different part of it. But I want to kind of give people that, because I find too many times a lot of people approach me, or they come to me at different, like I'll be at a speaking engagement and I'll be speaking. And when I get off the stage, they always come to me and say, I need you. I need you. But they don't really know how to communicate what they need me for, because they haven't really gained that clarity in their finances to know exactly what they need. So it typically takes us having a conversation, and then we'll have a conversation about what their current struggles are. And we'll talk about, where they are now financially, if they know. And that's typically what type of conversation we have to have. But it's very common for people to not know exactly what they need me for. They'll just say, oh, I need you, because they know they need the financial education, but they're just not sure exactly what steps they need to take for where they want to get to. So that's what made me wanted to come on and kind of do this live and talk about these different things. I also think that it is very important to talk about these things and have these conversations and just be open about these conversations. And let me just kind of give you an example of how these things. Now, I relocated last year. I lived in Chicago, born and raised most of my life. I have had relocated on my bucket list, on my vision board, probably about 3-4 years. But what I was missing was some of the being intentional behind it and actively doing stuff. I was applying to jobs, but that's really all I was doing. I wasn't doing other things to proactively, make it happen, me move. All I did was apply to jobs. And to be completely honest, before last year, I was applying to jobs, but I wasn't like on it, applying to jobs. And that's really the kind of energy that it takes. So I put it on my vision board a couple of years. And then last year I was intentional. I started actually visiting places with the intention of, can I live here? Spending more than a weekend there so I can get an idea. But like I said, it was the vision of me remembering when I'm at that different place, I would be able to envision myself. What would it be like if I lived here? If I lived here, what would this do? Like, that's why your vision is important. So talk to yourself, have a conversation with yourself. What do you want? What do you want for you? Where do you want you to be? And once you figure out where you want to be, get delusional about it, and get so delusional that you can imagine yourself doing it. Okay? Get so delusional that you can actually picture scenarios in your head of you actively accomplishing this goal. That's how delusional you need to get. Okay. Then the next part is, I want you to give yourself grace. Give yourself grace through the process, because there are going to be times where you're going to make mistakes. There's going to be times where you might fall off or you might fall back. I want you to give yourself grace in those times. I want you to not beat yourself up, not get discouraged in those times. I want you to continue to give yourself grace, because nobody's perfect. You only know what you know. And that's it. And lastly, I want you to practice gratitude. And I want you to practice gratitude because a lot of times as we go through our financial journey, we think a lot about what we haven't accomplished yet. Or we think about like, oh, well, I'm trying to get to this step. I haven't got to that step yet. That we very rarely stop and sit back and look like where we came from. Like we're running and we keep thinking about how much space is between us and the finish line. But we rarely, and this is the only time I would tell you to look back, we rarely look back like, dang, I covered that much ground already. we don't really do that. So I feel like those steps are also very important. So create your financial vision, decide where you want to be, decide exactly decide exactly where you want to be, decide exactly what steps you need to take to get there so you can create a plan, you can create a budget. I'm actually doing a webinar on July 30th where I'll get a little bit more in depth about this topic and we could talk about it. It'll be live so you can ask your questions. It's on July 30th. If you're on here, go to whatever platform you're on. Of course, follow me, whatever platform you're on, but go to the link in my bio and sign up for my webinar July 30th. We're going to talk about this and getting that clarity in your finances and actually working on making progress and actually really doing the work, not just talking about it, actually doing the work. I think that that's something that we don't do as much as we should. I think that we talk about a lot of things, and I don't think we don't do it all the time because we don't want to. I think sometimes we really don't know. So I try to provide, like, of course, I do offer paid services. I offer courses. I offer one-on-one consults. I offer online membership, but I come on and I offer a lot of free information on any one of my platforms where you can find a lot of videos. And if you ask me a question in my comments, I typically will make a video about it and answer it. So I try to get as much information as I can out because I know that it's not that people are just out here and don't want to do it. A lot of times you don't, but the amount of people who need this information and the amount of people who need to be more proactive about their finances and get really serious about it is real. So if you have any questions, you guys let me know. I got about 5 more minutes on here before I have to jump on a coaching call with one of my clients. But I wanted to come on here really quick. I'm going to try to come on here more often if possible. And again, don't forget, sign up for that webinar. It's going to be on July 30th. So let me know. But yeah, so creating your financial vision board is very important. I personally like doing the regular vision board with basically the way that I make my vision board is I search online for different pictures and I copy and paste them to one like Microsoft Word sheet. So where all the pictures are on this one sheet, and I go through, I Google search and then click images for whatever thing I'm looking for. And I find an image that I like. And it's something that I take my time and do because I want to be very intentional and purposeful with this. So I do that. And then after I do that, then I go and I print them all out and cut them all out. And then I put all the pictures on there. And what I typically do is I create like a theme for that year, or a tagline, if you want to call it, for that year. And that's like the theme of all my goals for that year. And that becomes like, I don't know if you want to say like my words for the year. My actions typically go along with that theme. Like this year, my theme is Year of Me. So I've been very intentional about working on my skin routine. I just moved to a climate that has more sun. So I'm looking for like, sunscreen suggestions. If you know about sunscreen that I can use well on my skin, that's not going to be like that filmy, milky stuff, and it's going to go well, definitely drop those comments in the chat. I probably need to make a video about that, but I'm definitely looking for sunscreen suggestions because I'm in a climate now that has a lot more sun. But these are the things, like these are all the things that I think are important for making your vision board. And once you make that vision board, if you want to, I personally put mine on the wall in my office because obviously I'm here a lot. You can put it in your bedroom. You can go on canva.com, Lovers Gel. Okay. You can put it on your screen on your phone. Like, so you can go on canva.com and you can create a vision board for free. They have a free version, and you can put that virtual vision board as your computer screen. You can put it as your phone screen. You can do all of the things. Okay. So that way it's always front of mind. It's not something that you forget throughout the year. You're constantly see it throughout the year. You'll be reminded, because you need those constant reminders about your goals. You need those constant, like, in your face. And that's why it's important to get a good people around you, because they're also, one, they're going to help you remember your goals. And the real thing is, two, they gonna keep you accountable for your goals, because they're gonna be like, didn't you say that you was gonna, or remember you said that you was gonna, you said you was gonna do this. And you like, oh damn, I did say I was gonna do that. So get them accountable people on around you. You might be a little irritated with them in the moment, but after the fact, yes, keep them people around you, because they're gonna help you. Oh, okay. Lover's gel aloe vera gel is what you were trying to say. And I have aloe vera gel. I didn't know you can use it for sunscreen. I know you can use it like when you get sunburned. So okay, maybe I'll have to try that. Yeah, but I need sunscreen suggestions. Aloe vera gel. Yeah, I definitely have aloe vera gel at home. I do. But it's 6:59, y'all. I gotta go. Like I said, live webinar July 30th. It'll be just go to the link in my bio and sign up. But my client is about to come on at 7:00 on my coaching call. So I have to let you all go. Definitely, wherever you are watching this on, make sure you hit that follow button. Follow. And whatever questions you have, just drop it in the comments of one of my videos and I'll be sure to answer it. So let me know. You all have a good one. I probably might go live again this week sometimes. We'll see, but I gotta go. All right. Oh, I don't know. Okay. And do.